Hey everyone, today's lesson is about using figurative language in your writing. And I know that you've been learning all about figurative language probably since third grade at least. So we're going to watch a little review of just the different types of figurative language, and then we're going to do a Pear Deck activity. And then what I really want you to do is try to add maybe two, maybe three examples of figurative language in your narrative story that you've been working on. Let's just review some of this figurative language. I know that you have learned this before, maybe even as early as third grade, but it's a good thing to review it and think about it. So figurative language is when you use a word or a phrase that does not have its normal, everyday, literal meaning. So, hyperbole is an exaggeration that's not meant to be taken seriously. For example, I am so hungry I could eat a horse. If I don't get the new iPhone, I will die. Okay, those really are really exaggerated. An idiom is a group of words with a meaning that is different from their literal meaning. And idioms have historical references and are culture specific. So in English, we'll say it is raining cats and dogs, and that means it's raining really hard. Now, in the French language, the expression or the idiom is il pleut à boire debout. And that means it's raining so hard you could drink standing up. So that's a very strange translation of it's raining cats and dogs. Well, in fact, it's not a translation, but it is an idiom that has a similar meaning. Another idiom might be my teacher woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Okay, you didn't really wake up on the wrong side of the bed, but what does that mean? It means that things maybe aren't going so well today or you're in a really bad mood. Simile is a comparison where two unlike things are compared and we use like or as. Metaphor is also a direct comparison between two different things, but it doesn't have like or as. The snow is a white blanket. Whereas the simile would say the snow was as white as a blanket, or the snow looked like a white blanket. Personification is when you give human-like characteristics to something that is not human. And onomatopoeia is those words that sound like the object or action it refers to: buzz, achoo, chirp, that kind of thing. Thank you. Allusion is a type of figurative language that is a little bit more complicated because it is an indirect reference to something, an event, a song, or another text. So, for example, in this figure to the right, there's a photograph there of a woman with an ATV. And she wrote a bunch of different kinds of figurative language. And her allusion is the trail was the ATV's yellow brick road. When she was talking about the yellow brick road, that is an allusion to the movie The Wizard of Oz. All right, you're going to go into Pear Deck and click on the link to this presentation. This is kind of a review of what I just talked about in the video. How do writers use figurative language to improve their writing? You'll see those terms, and I have made print copies of this for those of you who have a print notebook. Otherwise, this image is in your digital writer's notebook for a good review. Here's the information about the idioms. Then on this slide, you can see the practice. Take 5 minutes and find examples of figurative language in your choice reading book. And if you don't have a choice reading book at home, there is an excerpt on that link to a book called The Great Fire. It's about the Great Chicago Fire that happened in the 1800s. And you're going to find examples and write them down on this response slide. Then on the next response slide, I want you to take a look at these 4 images, and you don't have to write something for each of them. Maybe you just want to write a bunch of examples for one of them, but try to write as many different kinds of figurative language as you can. Just take, 5-10 minutes to do that. Don't take too much time, because what I really want you to do is go back to your narrative writing draft, that 20 minutes of writing that we started with. It should be longer by now. And add a little bit of figurative language to your draft. And you can change the color of the font or highlight it when you add that in. All right, thank you. Have fun with your writing.